So, after winning the talent show, How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, Connie Fisher had the theatre world at her feet. She was performing 8 times a week in the West End.
But behind the smiles, Connie had been diagnosed with a condition that could end her singing career. Before we hear how she battled to save her voice, let's remind ourselves of the contest that catapulted her to fame.
The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song. It heals my heart.
The girl the public have cast to be Maria Von Trapp is Connie!
Connie joins us now. A triumphant moment, an amazing moment. But when did you first notice there was a problem?
Well, 2006 I won the show. It changed my life, and I was so happy and grateful to be on stage. But 2008, I had a vocal hemorrhage whilst I was at the Palladium in San. It took a few weeks off. And 2009, I'd left the show, and the voice was never the same. When you have a vocal hemorrhage, a vocal bleed, you can come back from that. I mean, Adele had a vocal bleed, she's back. Sam Smith recently had a vocal bleed. And I'm sure they'll sing better than ever, but my voice never really came back.
Was it because you actually didn't necessarily take the dose of pills that you were given? You took extra?
No, I mean, what I didn't know at the Palladium, there was an underlying problem, which I was born with, it turns out. So I had this operation to find out what the problem was, and it was called sulcus vocalis. So instead of lying flat like pancakes, my vocal folds have a hole in them, so they fold back like crepes, and they don't vibrate like everybody else's. So I had these operations, and when I went back on tour, I did take an irregular dose of anti-inflammatories to keep it under control.
What effect did that have?
Yeah.
Oh, adverse effects. I mean, it was prednisolone, it was a steroid to keep the swelling down, because I really wanted to be on that stage. I wanted to be on that UK tour, being Maria. It was my dream role, and I did anything to be on stage. You know, Doctor Theatre wasn't enough to get me through.
No.
So I got really bloated, had what they call moon face, and I had very, very dark moods. So I sort of lived like a nun, just on steroids. And I was doing that for 18 months, which was really foolish and
How were the performances? Did the audience notice that you had a problem?
Sadly, they did. One night, I noticed there's a lot of rustling in the front row, and I thought, have they got sweets or something? Actually, they were rustling in their programmes, and they said to the stewards at the interval, "Where is Connie? She's not on." And I was like 3 seats in front of them, because I just looked so different. And I felt that I'd lost my vocal identity, I'd lost my physical identity, and I didn't really know who I was anymore. So I decided to quit in 2012, singing altogether. And then I hadn't sung in 3 years. Until now.
And this is when you met this amazing man who has helped. Is it through exercise? How has he done it?
Well, Gary Katona, I heard about him as being Whitney Houston's vocal coach, and he helped Muhammad Ali to speak again when he had Parkinson's. He's hailed as a miracle worker for the voice, and I thought, if anybody needs a vocal miracle, I do. So I said, can I see Gary? And he said, he's in London for 24 hours. So I grabbed the crew and I said, let's film this. Can he help me? And he did. And how he does it, he causes trauma to the vocal cords to build the voice. Well,
the moment that you were because you're known for those beautiful, pure, high notes, like Julie Andrews, and of course someone else who I think you spoke to, because she also had her vocal issues.
I did, yeah.
What did she say to you?
She said, go to Steve Zeitel's, this guy in Boston, and I did, and he gave me 2 fairly successful operations, but he said, you'll probably never sing again.
Well, I mean, what a thing to be told. And we've actually got a clip from the documentary here which shows just how upsetting it was for you not to be able to hit those beautiful, pure notes.
Remember I told you about not judging your voice? Every time I tell you this, you don't listen.
Oh.
Every time you're and the funny thing is, you're doing it right, and you're criticizing yourself for it. See, you keep on saying okay, but you don't change your mentality.
No, but I've been...
Don't get emotional about this. Go ahead, do it. Twice.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Try one more time. This time you're going to get it this time, I think.
I mean, that's
Gosh, it must be so
nothing
difficult.
worse.
How much?
I know, it's awful.
How can
you
you
know
not?
how it should sound, and you're...
As a soprano, then not to be able to hit any notes at all, it was heartbreaking. So to come back and him give me any sort of voice, to hit any sort of musical notes out of my mouth has just been amazing.
How did he achieve that? Because you have sung. Andrew Lloyd Webber said you can have the Palladium for a night, which is a wonderful thing to be able to do. With a thought in your head that this could be the last time I ever do a big performance like this.
Andrew is great. He said, at the end of this documentary, you must sing again at the Palladium, and that was just the most amazing experience. And I didn't actually know whether I was going to get there, because if you see the documentary, you'll see a week before, I go back to my vocal specialists in Boston, Dr. Zeitels, and he says, actually, there's something to discuss. You've got a cyst on top of everything else. I said, well, I'm singing in a week at the Palladium, and I wanted this to be a really happy ending. He said, you can have an operation if you like, instead. I said, probably can't afford that. So he said, I said, how difficult is a cyst to remove? He said, it's harder to remove than cancer.
Oh, Connie.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad. So I still got the cyst, but I did sing again at the Palladium, and Gary and Steve both helped me get there. And you'll have to see it on iPlayer for yourself.
We've got a little clip from it.
Oh, gosh, okay.
And here is that moment.
My heart will be blessed with the sound of music, and I'll sing once more.
Oh, and you did sing once more.
Sorry.
It must have been such an incredible night, and I mean, through all of this, we haven't talked about how you met your wonderful husband, and he obviously has been an incredible support.
He was a rock. He really has been incredible. Because the girl he married was the sort of the star at the time, and he's gone through all this trouble with me, lost my voice, my identity. Kind of got it back a bit now. To sing there and to sing once more was all I wanted to do. And to be honest, when we have kids, all I wanted was to be able to sing happy birthday to them. So that I can do. And
you can sing favourite things and everything.
I can sing favourite things now.
What's the future then? What will your singing career be?
Well, one has to be realistic about things. I'm not going to be singing 8 shows a week at the Palladium anytime soon. However, I'd love to do the occasional concert, because I feel I may not be Julie Andrews anymore, but I have found a new voice. It's quite husky.
Well, Julie Andrews isn't Julie Andrews anymore,
No,
of course.
no.
There's something about that musical, isn't there? What is it?
Well, I think it's a curse of the sound of it. There's a
Oh,
story.
no. ITV are doing it soon.
You sing it, you know, sort of one amazing time of your career,
Yeah.
and then, you know, you and Julie can't go back.
Well, no, and we both have different problems. Mine's here for life, it seems. However, you can make the best of what you've got, and I hope that people who have watched the documentary will see that you can climb any mountain if you set your mind to it.
And also, you have made this documentary, and you are going on to make other documentaries, and that is what you're going to be, as a TV producer.
Well, when
Which is a great thing.
When the surgeon said, quit, you know, you've got to quit now, because what you're doing to yourself is crazy, I actually went into storytelling in a different way, so I went to become a TV producer, and that's what I've done for the past 3 years. I'm not always a subject of my own documentaries, but it just happened that Avanti in Cardiff said, you know, let's make this, it's a good story, and I didn't quite appreciate what an emotional roller coaster it was going to be, and actually that it would be a lovely ending, and a chapter closed, but when God shuts a door, he opens a window, I think.
Yes, he does.
And
exactly as Maria said.
Yeah, exactly. And I sort of live by her words. You know, I've climbed that mountain, whatever cliche you can think of. It all relates back to the sound of music. And I hope that the future holds more documentary making as a TV producer. And that's been a wonderful experience, storytelling in a different way. But also, I hope that, you know, I've got to write it down at some point before I forget all this happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thankfully for us, because we can watch this moment of despair turn into a moment of such wondrous glory at the Palladium for that one last time. It is in a documentary, and it's I'll Sing Once More, and it's out now. You can download it now, watch it now on BBC iPlayer.
Also, Connie at the Palladium, if you want to see the rest of the concert with my new voice. Happy to watch that.
That's iPlayer as well.
iPlayer as well.
Yeah, terrific. Thank
Brilliant.
you, Connie.
Thank
you very
Thank
much
you.
indeed.
Still to come.